Be the change. Be the change. Thanks for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. We're all carrying archetypes within us, in our behaviors. And sometimes the goddess pops up. Sometimes the goddess pops up and the light attributes of the goddess, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. Shadow attributes, exploitation of the female nature and form. Wisdom, nature, life force, sensuality. Everybody wants to be the goddess or the empress or, you know, the high priestess, and everybody wants to be them, but then not everybody, generalizing. A lot of people want to be them, and a lot of people feel like they are them if they pull a card, and then that's what's showing up. Then now they feel like this is me, this is who I am. But the thing is that with the Empress and the High Priestess, and it takes a lot of work to get there. Like first you have to set out on this journey and figure out your mind, your body, your soul, how does it work? And then dig on in deep within there. And do you know some people sometimes, you know how you might be getting an idea or you're in the moment and you're just like, oh wow, let's do that. And then they're like, well, let me sit here and think about it for a little bit. Let me think about that. I'm not so sure about that. Let me figure out, let me make a little notes over here. Pros and cons. We're gonna do this. And then an hour later, 2 hours later, they might be getting to a conclusion. And so someone is showing up as not trusting the flow of life. Sometimes the ideas that you get, they're like nudges from the universe. They're like little gifts from the universe. And they're like telling you something to do something. And then you resist it because it's not really what you had planned in your logical mind, or it's not really what would be expected of you to do in that situation according to the social norms that we have all been implemented with. And so someone is just resisting to to go with the flow of life. And then if you have people around you who are nurturing, or you have people or places or things or faith around you, it doesn't have to be people. If you don't have those people around you, then you can also just lean on faith itself and have that with your life, which is probably the best option, but it's also good to have both. Because you're surrounded by welcoming new love and what it brings. And sometimes when you do want to welcome new love and what it brings, you have to be in the flow of things. Because if you have this huge potential with somebody, and then you have huge potential, you can tell because the feelings that you feel when they are there, or how it makes you feel to think about them, or maybe you cannot stop thinking about them. They're popping up in your head all the time, and there's nothing really going on. And so sometimes when those things happen, you have to do something to break the distance if you want to bring the relationship closer, or if you want to explore that feeling that you got with this person. And if you want to explore it, then you have to do something that will take you to a place of exploring, right? And so a lot of work, hard work here, which also sometimes can be like overworking. We don't have time for it, don't want to make time for it. I mean, if you're working on something and then, so this is kind of the blockage for being in the flow of things, connecting and having that. So the blockage here is kind of overworking, maybe working your way away from the emotional stuff, covering up the emotional stuff and working, which is And because of this reluctancy to be in the flow, like if you don't want to be in the flow, you don't want to be in the now, you want to just be in your planning, or you're thinking about what happened before, or you're just sitting here planning everything, not going with the flow, not like feeling the nudges, listening to your intuition and all that, and then you put the brakes on. So in your subconscious, there's brakes on, and then you won't be able to move forward with confidence. But when you have, like if two people choose each other, sometimes it's so strange that how can they, like there's this mutual attraction between two people. And then the confidence, the self-confidence is like ruining it. And that's strange because the attraction is mutual. Then there is already an attraction there. The confidence should be high. Confidence should be good. Like there's already established an attraction. Ready to love and learn. So someone made a decision. And this is maybe because why also these cards are showing up. Because in recent past, someone made a decision, want to do higher learning, perhaps leaning more to faith and having faith, unconditional love, being willing to learn, willing to take in new lessons and new and then might not be so willing to move forward, but it doesn't really matter what you want. Sometimes it doesn't really matter what we want, humans. Like it doesn't really matter sometimes spirit is going to move you anyway. And so this is why the Tower shows up sometimes, because we're like, nope, I'm very comfortable right here, I am not moving anywhere, and I'm just sitting here. And then the Tower moments happen, and then you have to do something, or it will do it for you. So then you just have to go with the flow, even if it might be in a negative way. You have to just, when the Tower hits or when the changes come in, because knowing that peaceful times will come, having faith that peaceful times will come, ready to love and learn. And there's going to be whole new languages to learn. If you've been a hermit or disconnected from people, then it's going to be a learning curve to learn all these things again, how to connect with people, or maybe for the first time, how to connect with people. We got 6 of Cups. And sometimes reminiscing about the past or reminiscing about the past experiences can be a good thing. Sometimes it can be a bad thing, right? Remembering the past reminiscing about past happiness sometimes creates sadness, because that was then, and now there's this big gap between way back when I was so happy when they're back there, and then it creates a big gap, and now I'm sitting here in the space, in the moment. Here I am. There you are, in the moment, in the space. And then there creates a gap, and you think about all these past times you were so happy, and then it makes you feel sad sometimes. And so we bring the sadness in, or the melancholy. And ready to love and learn can only happen in the now. You can only really truly love in the now. Even if, like, unconditional love is only accessible in the now. You have to be there, like here in the moment. You have to be in the moment to be able to access it, to access it. And so you do have all the energy that you need to realize your goals. And even if you feel like overworked, and maybe you feel like you feel overworked, insecure, and not wanting to go with the flow in life. So you have your brakes on a little bit, which is nothing wrong with it. It's completely okay. It is guidance. Sometimes when you hear certain things being said, then that could be like a key point that you can be like, maybe I do have the brakes on a little bit. Where is my brakes? What is my brakes related to? Why do I have my brakes on? Do I want to keep my brakes on? If yes, then okay, keep your brakes on. If no, then okay, Spirit, how can I lessen or loosen up these brakes that I hold on this situation so that I can learn? How can I go with the flow? What is a better way for me to just go with the flow and allow this new love to come into my life and trust what it will bring to me in the now? We're not going to reminiscing about the good old days and be all caught up in that. We're going to create it in the now. And then those little messages that comes out they're like little riddles, life riddles. Like, wow, okay, so if I have my brakes on, then how do I solve it? How can I loosen up on my brakes so I can explore what's going on without so many brakes on? And if you don't like it, you just put your brakes back on. Sometimes we feel like we don't have what we need, but we do have what we need, and we can create what we need. And if you don't have what you want, sometimes you will have what you need. Like, for example, okay, so for me, for example, being an artist on a budget, low budget, being an artist on a low budget, then you have to be creative and you have to just figure out how can you put together your pieces with what you already have. Look around you, all the things that you have. Can you find things along the road? Maybe you can pick up something that you see along the road if you can't afford it, and then you can put it together, and that's how art becomes anyway. And so there are different ways, and there are different ways that you can achieve what you want to achieve anyway. And if you are, you have all the energy that you need to realize your goals. The funny part is, once you loosen up on your brakes, that takes a lot of energy to sit on the brakes. It takes a lot of energy. Now you're holding back your emotions. You are holding back the pull from the universe. You're trying to block it. And so there's a lot of energy that you have to sit in and use. You have to take out a lot of energy to sit on the brakes. And so when you loosen up on the brakes, the funny part is that then you will feel like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I had all this energy. Now I have all the energy that I need to succeed. So once you loosen up on your brakes, because it takes half of your attention to sit on the brake, and it takes half of your attention to just do the work. And then perhaps there's like 5% left that might want to, maybe you want to explore new love and new territory. Maybe you want to connect with another human being in a good way. And so, yeah, priorities. But you have everything that you need to prosper. And someone is really wanting personal growth, and in the mind, they really want to grow personally, and they, in their mind, when they close their eyes, they can see themselves as this kind of a superhero, not really a superhero, but just a superhuman. They can accomplish everything and have the confidence to go where I want to go. I go there, I just talk to people, and I just do that, and then I just go there, I start this business, and I'm so successful. And then I start working out, and everything is easy. I get in shape real quick, and then everything is working out for me. And then you stop by McDonald's on the way home, or you just sit on the couch and dream about it. The funny thing is that just a little bit of action every day makes a huge difference down the road. So, but first part of growth, first part of change, being the change, like the first thing is to be aware of what you want to change. Why do you want to change it? What do you want to become? Like, would you like to show up in your world? How would you like to show up in your job? How would you like to show up in your relationship? How would you like to show up for your kids, if you have any kids? How would you like to show up for your animals, if you have any animals? How would you like to show up for the people that you meet out there in the world? How would you like to show up in the world? What do you look like in your mind's eye when you close your eyes? and you see yourself as your highest potential, what do you do when you are at your highest potential? And there it is. That's the true nature. And then you start working towards that from the now, always present in the now. But sometimes the imagination is also what you need. Sometimes you don't want to do personal growth, and you know that's okay too. You don't have to go within and dig in all the tragedies or all the heavy stuff or the difficult stuff. But it does make life more fun if you should choose to do that. Way more fun. In my experience, best thing that you can ever do. Sometimes you need some inspiration to get things going or get things moving. And sometimes it can be just like in the physical, being inspired, having passion, trying to accomplish something, do something. Then sometimes it can be easier to, if you involve other people, you invite them along. Now there's a group of you, then you have to get up and you have to do what you got to do because other people are dependent on you. So if you're wanting to start a workout routine, or you're wanting to start to go to the farmer's market once a week to get vegetables and fresh produce, then do it with someone else. Find someone that you can go with and do those things so that you have accountability. And then take care of yourself. Even if you don't want to go into the personal growth and all that stuff and all that jazz, maybe you can just put some circumstantial changes in your life. Just go for a walk or get some healthier food. Take care of yourself. You're worth it. And then Three of Swords. So sometimes things are just muddy and we can't really see how they are. Sometimes in our imagination too, we make up stories like, or we already think we are at some point, and we see ourselves different than where we're actually at. Like, which can be it can be a good way to survive things or to get through difficult situations and stuff like that. And then there's a place for the imagination and the imaginary world. And then there is a place for reality and in the real world, because it's very different. Like for years and years, I would have my romantic life was completely only attached to unattainable characters in my mind that I could connect to. I was not able to connect in this world. I was unable to connect with people. It wasn't my path. I was supposed to be doing this work on my own. But we are social beings. We do need people in our lives. So I made a completely imaginary world, and that was sufficient to get me through the times that I needed to go through. But also it can lead to a lot of weird stuff. We make up so many things in our minds, so it can lead to a lot of weird stuff. But the message is here to see things as they truly are. If you don't have to go through the heartbreak, then don't go through the heartbreak. Like if you don't want a heartbreak in your life, then don't go through it. Like see things how they truly are, and instead of making it putting those rose-colored glasses on, and then you have a whole different level of stuff that you have to deal with in your world. People show up in very different ways, like, and being the change, it takes willingness, it takes awareness, it takes wanting to be on a spiritual path, wanting to do the right, wanting to be better than you were yesterday, wanting to compete with yourself and to be a better version of who you used to be and all that stuff. And so it takes a lot for a person to be say, well, you know what, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna just change because I want my life to feel different than it does right now. So, and then I'm just gonna have to do what I have to do. And you don't have to sweat about it, you can just delight in it. And here's a little bird for us. And delight in it. Like the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. And then with the people in your life, see them for who they truly are. All those flags and all the stuff, just allow them to be what they are, and then you just move on to the next. Because there is someone out there who is aligning with you, and you don't have to go through all the heartbreaks and heartaches and all that stuff. Like if it aligns with you, it aligns with you, and that's a good thing. Esther and Abraham Hicks says, there is tremendous value when you are able to deliberately, intentionally, deliberately cause even the slightest improvement in the way that you feel. For even in that small emotional improvement, you may have regained a measure of control. Not being completely drawn into your emotions, but have a measure of control. Your presence is still there. You are still there observing the emotions. You are not your emotions. You are the observer of the emotions coming through. And even though you may not have fully exercised your control, you no longer feel powerless. Powerless sucks. Like powerless just sucks. So how can we feel more powerful? Like then you have to take your power back. And so you trek up to the emotional guidance scale. It's now not only possible, but it's relatively easy. So how can you change from one emotion to a little bit less of dysfunctional emotion, or like negative, low vibrational emotion? How can you move towards gratitude if you're feeling depressed? Like that's a big gap. So you're not going to go just hop from there to there. Maybe you have to go through some frustrations or just a little bit annoyance or going up the scale. And then maybe you feel kind of somewhat hopeful or grateful, and then love. And then you come up the scale on these vibrational emotions that we carry. The beautiful light in me honors, respects, and it loves the same beautiful light in you. Unconditional love is always, always have been, always will be, everywhere, from within. Until next time, namaste.